On March 9th, the six drove to Tongariro Park, which features 3 volcanoes, one of which, Mount Naruhoi, was presented as the fictional Mount Doom in some films. There they made their way to a familiar waterfall. After they ate some meat pies, they tramped a long way to another waterfall. A little too long, some might say. Then it was off to their last stop of the night, an Airbnb in Wanganui. They arrived just in time to witness a stunning sunset on the beach. The following morning, they said goodbye to the ocean and were off to the Pakaha Wilderness Center, where they caught a glimpse of the elusive kiwi in its dark enclosure and watched some hungry eels being fed.
Aww. So just remembering nighttime sleep.
It was not for everyone. Then it was time for Sophie to try driving the large automobile. Considering all she had to familiarize herself with, and to do so on treacherous, narrow mountain passes, she acquitted herself well, and got them to Kaitoki Regional Park safely. There, many rocks were thrown, bouncing bridge antics by teenagers were ignored, and many secrets were uncovered in the gate to Rivendell.
Yeah, I'm looking inside of the thing. Because there's a hole. Whoa! There's a hole leading into it. So I just want to get a video of that because that's cool.
Passing through the gate a final time, they made for New Zealand's capital city, Wellington. Their surprisingly posh lodgings on the steep hills afforded them a great view of the greenery below, and it had a little stage for some reason. The following day, the fellowship was broken, temporarily. Sage, Gavin, Katie, and Dale went to tour the Weta workshop, while Sophie and Ivy went to explore the city. At Weta, the 4 interacted with some trolls in their respective fashions before going in to see some of the famous props, weaponry, and costuming that have been created there. Though not allowed in the actual workshop, through a window Sage recognized Weta's master swordsmith Peter Lyon working on a sword. A very fortunate sight indeed. Meanwhile, Sophie and Ivy were taking the cable car, which put the fun in funicular.
Is the grizzly reaper mowing? Yes! The danger must be growing, for the rowers keep on rowing, and they're certainly not showing any signs that they are slowing!
Sophie did end up shrunk down like Mike TV, though. They later visited the Wellington Botanic Garden, The rest of the party followed the footsteps of another group of four, and then headed to the New Zealand museum known as Te Papa. They all met up downtown, and after walking some of the quaint streets and checking out some thrift stores, it was back home to prepare for an early next day departure. So they drove onto the ferry and sailed from the North Island to the South Island through Cook Strait. Most enjoyed the open waters, but not all. They arrived at the picturesque port town of Picton, where they dined and thrifted.
Ooh. And it's half off day? Nice.
Before setting off on the windy seaside road to Kaikoura. That night, they watched that most famous of fantasy movies filmed in New Zealand, Bridge to Terabithia. On the 13th of March, the six made for Christchurch, but not before stopping at Oahu Point Seal Colony. While people were kept a respectful distance from the seals, modern technology allowed for a pretty decent view.
Woke that guy up. Excuse me. Daddy. And that was enough work for him. Now that one's up. Morning to baby. Look at the baby. So little, dude. He's like, no, I'm in a little.
The group then drove the windy coastal road to their next destination. The following day saw Sage and Gavin leaving on their own quest, while Sophie, Ivy, Katie, and Dale checked out points nearby. They dined at a cafe where food and drink were delivered in novel fashion. They then explored the beach known as Taylor's Mistake that promised sheep nearby. Which it delivered. Meanwhile, Sage and Gavin toured an area some may recognize as Erebus.
No man can kill me.
I am no man.
When they returned, they dined together, though Gavin was noticeably absent. But he rejoined them later, and that night they all went to a comedy club to watch an Australian improvisational group perform. Then it was off to bed to prepare for the next day's adventures.